Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced on Saturday the installation of 20,000 fingerprint readers throughout the country in an effort to stem smuggling. The fingerprint readers will prevent people from buying more products than they are allotted. Maduro added that this measure was just one of many that the government is undertaking to solve the problem of shortages in the country. The U.S.-backed right-wing opposition has resorted to hoarding, among other economic measures, in an attempt to destabilize the democratically elected government.
Colombia's military and the FARC rebels have agreed to a plan to remove landmines, officials in Bogota announced Saturday. Colombia's 50-year-old conflict has left many parts of the country riddled with landmines, which have left over 11,000 victims in 15 years. Today, it's one of the most landmined countries in the world. The conflict is Latin America's oldest and has killed over 220,000 people.
Imprisoned on various occasions and subjected to interrogations, Jaime Galarza Zavala is one of the estimated 120 direct victims of the CIA in Ecuador. Persecuted by the CIA for his political organizing, Galarza is a critic of U.S. foreign policy in the region and has spoken out about his personal experience.
Usted fue uno de los guerrilleros de la República Dominicana, república que yo hasta ahora no conozco. Pero me acusaban de ser uno de los dirigentes.
They told me that I was working as a guerrilla in the Dominican Republic. I, to this day, have never visited the Dominican Republic, but they accused me of being a guerrilla leader in the Dominican Republic, and this was a common theme with various interrogations. So while they interrogated me, there was someone that called every now and then that called from another room. After, they told me that this person they were talking with was a gringo, a North American, who never presented himself to me, but he gave them instructions as to how to continue the interrogation.
Galarza, who interviewed Philip Agee in 1975, published the book titled The CIA Against Latin America, Special Case of Ecuador, with Francisco Herrera Arauz, who also interviewed the ex-CIA operations officer on the institution's activities. Agee's name became internationally known when he wrote the book Inside the Company, CIA Diary in 1975, which details his time working in Ecuador, Uruguay, and Mexico from 1960 to 1968 and announces actions undertaken by the CIA during this period.
First, they destroyed our democracy. Second, they worked with undivided attention against our citizens. They persecuted our citizens for thinking differently. These are deaths, injured. There are victims of this violence. There are families that were harmed. There are exiles. The honor of some people has been ruined. And all of this was caused by the CIA's actions.
Agee said that when he operated in Ecuador from 1960 to 1963, the CIA oversaw the overthrow of 2 presidents, the infiltration of various political parties and organizations, and the planting of bombs in front of churches and other emblematic sites to frame leftist groups, among other actions.
These secret policies continue in Latin America today. Nothing that Philip Agee denounced as CIA actions in the past have been discarded by the espionage we see today.
There were an estimated 200 Ecuadorians on CIA payroll during the years Agee operated within the country. Ecuador's foreign ministry has printed and widely distributed copies of the book published by Galarza and Herrera to raise public awareness of the atrocities committed within Ecuador and the long-term damage caused by CIA interventions throughout Latin America. Liz Scherfius, Telesur, Ecuador.
Protesters took to the streets on Saturday in Madison, Wisconsin, following the fatal shooting of an unarmed African-American teenager by a white police officer late Friday. Tony Robinson was shot dead by police officer Matt Kenny, who was responding to a report of battery. The shooting sparked demonstrations where protesters chanted the slogan, "Black Lives Matter." Other deaths of unarmed black men by white police officers resulted in a wave of protests across the country last year.
Around 25,000 Israelis rallied against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Saturday in Tel Aviv, 10 days ahead of the country's general election. The demonstration was one of the largest anti-Netanyahu protests and shows the growing discontent with the right-wing leadership. Leading up to the country's election, Netanyahu's Likud party is neck and neck with the center-left Zionist Union in opinion polls.
Greece could call a referendum or have early elections should its Eurozone partners reject its debt and growth plans, Greece Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis said in a newspaper interview on Sunday. The new Greek government, led by Alexis Tsipras, won an election in January, promising to renegotiate a bailout with the International Monetary Fund and its European Union partners that requires strict budget discipline and sweeping economic reforms. Eurozone finance ministers are meeting on Monday in Brussels to discuss a letter of pledged reforms sent by Athens last week.
The 5 suspects in the assassination of prominent opposition leader Boris Nemtsov appeared in various courts in Moscow this Sunday. The court spokeswoman said 3 of the men have not been charged and are being treated as suspects. Zaur Dadiev and Anzor Gubashev, who are said to be from Chechnya, have been officially accused. Dadiev has admitted involvement in the killing, while Gubashev denies any participation. Russian officials have denied involvement in Nemtsov's death, and President Vladimir Putin has condemned the crime. Nemtsov shot dead February 27 in the most high-profile killing of an opposition figure in the 15 years Putin has been in office.
This Sunday marks 1 year since Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 vanished from all radars, never to be found again, and becoming one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. The plane, which was carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members, disappeared shortly after taking off from Kuala Lumpur en route to Beijing. Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak said his government remained committed to the search for the missing jetliner. But these promises have done nothing to ease the anger and frustration of relatives of the victims, as a report by international investigators offered no new clues as to its fate.
As the world celebrates International Women's Day this Sunday, the struggle for gender equality has proven to be a very long and difficult one. It's hard to believe that today no country has yet achieved equal rights for women, while men continue to dominate unfairly in all areas of society, and women continue to suffer pandemic violence and discrimination at many levels. Most workplaces don't make enough accommodations for working mothers, especially in the United States. This year, the theme is Make It Happen, which is a call for stepping up action to make the world free of gender bias. The goal is to reach complete gender equality by 2030.
In the neighborhoods of Nueva Suyapa and Villanueva in the Honduran capital, 7 of every 10 women have been victims of sexual violence. An artistic project has begun to work with these women to help them denounce the aggressors and rebuild their self-confidence.
This project attempts to give tools to women to help prevent sexual violence. The objective is to work in the prevention of violence using an artistic method.
Maria Bustillo has been a victim of sexual violence. Previously, she was unable to identify what was sexual violence against her, but this program is helping her.
This has been a very productive experience for us, and we have learned about the different forms of violence against women. We didn't know and couldn't identify what sexual violence was. The women that were with misogynistic men believed that they cared for them.
Artists have volunteered to be part of this project and use their talents to help the women.
It has been very important to learn about the experiences of these women. It has been a way to watch how they are growing as people, how they begin to initiate a dialogue with themselves.
The intention is that the project can be reproduced in other neighborhoods with high rates of sexual violence against women. In Honduras, every 14 hours a woman is violently murdered, and in more than half of the cases, the attacker was in a relationship with them. Gerardo Torres, Telesur, Central America.
Facts that have marked the course of history. Productions designed in the English language and made for the English-speaking world. This is Documentary. Watch it on telesur.net/English. Telesur, wherever the news, you'll be there.